Hey guys, Janet here today with my next episode of the Ireland Scrapbook. Sorry it's been a few more days than normal between videos. Again, a lot's going on with my cat. We're putting him through a lot of different tests and things, trying to find out if he has cancer or something else. So some tests have come back good, but there's still something going on. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm trying to get these layouts planned out and stuff for the videos, but I haven't spent as much time doing it. But today I do have the two layouts for Blarney Castle. These layouts may be a little bit more simplistic than some other layouts that I've done just because, again, when you're working with papers like this that are already kind of pre-designed, there's not a lot you can really do with them. It just kind of is what it is. So um, I'll show you what I did this time. And one reason this took longer than the other layouts have is because normally what I've been doing is sending all the pictures through Walgreens to have printed. And I'm not printing everything in the album like I used to do because I throw away a lot of pictures. But I still throw away a lot, even for the Waterford layouts that you guys saw, because I ended up having to reprint some of them in smaller sizes. I threw away a lot of pictures that I had printed. And again, I didn't even print as much as I normally do. I printed a fraction of that. So this time, what I tried to do, because the Blarney layouts are these two here. So again, more pre-designed papers. So it's more specific. So what I did was I went through my pictures and really tried to pick out the ones on my phone that I wanted to use. And I just printed these myself. And I see a lot of other scrappers printing with the white border, which I don't usually do. I like the look of that, and it saves paper. Not that I have to save paper because I have more paper than I'll ever know what to do with, but it saves some white paper for me having to mat all these photos. So the only ones I have to mat with paper are the 3x4s because to save printer paper, I print the two 3x4s together like this on one sheet of 4x6 and then just cut them in half. So I have to still mat them, but the bigger ones I was able to just have a white border because I think white is a good color for these, and it's definitely a good color for the next layout. As you can see, like a white mat is really going to stand out on this a lot better than a colored mat will. So this one I did think about going with green for a matting, but I really just like the clean look of the white. And then I pulled out from my Ireland embellishments anything that had Blarney in it. And Blarney is in County Cork, so I can use this. We didn't actually spend any time in the city of Cork like we did some other places. So the only place I'm going to be able to use this is on one of these two layouts. So I will be making that happen. So yeah, we'll put the embellishments to the side for right now and just kind of see what we have going on here and how it's all going to come together. So again, probably a little bit more simplistic, but not too awful bad. So for this layout, what I was thinking, I don't want to cover up this castle, and I don't want to cover up the word Ireland. I could, but like I could just do that and not, cover some of that. But I thought it might be nice to see that word Ireland, I guess. Again, it really doesn't matter, but otherwise, I could just have them these could go here and kind of frame the word Ireland. So I'm not 100% sure how I want to do that yet. I got to think about it. And then over here, and what I'll probably do for the other two books, these three pictures of us, the people pictures, are all the same size. So for the other people's books, I'll put their picture as the first picture over here. For this is my book, so it's actually going to be mine. But I just can't decide if I want to, maybe do something like that. It's only covering up the very top of the castle, so it's not really that big of a deal. But it also isn't a big deal to cover up that word Ireland because it's not like I don't have other stickers that say Ireland that I could put somewhere else. And I do kind of like being able to see the whole thing and not having any of it cut out. So we'll see. But what I had in mind for over here was something like putting two of the bigger pictures here. And then I have this picture of them it was looking through some kind of little tunnel thing. Maybe putting that in the center down here and then having the smaller ones flank it on the sides. Something like this. And with these, I could either center these or have them off to one side or the other. And that may just depend on what kind of embellishment cluster I want to add. I'm leaning towards having them just over to one side and then putting a cluster or an embellishment or two over here. So that is what I'm leaning towards doing. So I think I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. And I guess I'll just do that on film this time because there's not that many of them that I have to do. So I can get the mats put on these. And then I can just glue the other one straight on. So again, there's not going to be a lot of designing going into these pages. That is the trade-off that you have whenever you're using pre-designed pages like this. I enjoy using this type of stuff for my trips, and you'll see in other trips that I scrapbook, because I'm probably going to do my Alaska and Seattle after this book is finished and film that for you guys. But you'll see even for Alaska that I have plenty of papers like this that are Alaska themed. And so sometimes it is harder to be like creative. And that is one thing I sometimes miss about, using these kinds of pages, is that chance to really be creative. But I still like the theme stuff. So first things first, I want to see if there's anywhere that I feel like this is going to be able to go. It is kind of large. Kind of looks all right like that, actually. It's not bad. What I might actually do before we move on with this layout, I might actually put this layout to the side for just a second. I'm going to keep it kind of laid out how it is. And what I think I'm going to actually do is arrange this one, because by seeing both of them, it will give me an idea of if I want to use a certain embellishment on a certain area. I do want to make sure that these are actually 12 inches, because the Scrapbook Customs papers, generally you have to take something off, but I may have already done that. Yeah, it looks like I already did that if it needed to be done. So let's lay these out how I designed them in my head. I kind of kept them a little bit together so that I could see what that was going to look like. So for this layout, I'm leaning towards something like this on this side, because again, I don't want to cover up these castles. I'm going to cover up some of the hills, and there's not much I can do about that, but I don't want to cover up a lot of the castles, because that's kind of the point of buying the paper, and that's also the point of using this paper for a castle layout, you know what I mean? So we want to bring this down to the green, I think, like with the green at the top and the bottom. So this is what I was leaning towards for this one. And I could bring these two in like this, or I could bring them so that they're even, but then I have a gap here. Either way, I'm going to have a gap. There's not much I can do about that. I am going to go ahead and, once again, put the smaller photos down on their mats, because it's easier to move these around if they are one piece versus two. That will be helpful. So yeah, again, I'm really enjoying doing the photos in the different sizes. I just think that it looks so much nicer than everything always just all being 4x6s. And there are some layouts that I do that everything is going to be a 4x6, because sometimes I don't think ahead when I'm taking the pictures to take them a little further away so that I can cut them down if I want to. Sometimes my pictures are close up enough that there's no room to trim them, and the only way that they're going to be smaller is if I do print them in a smaller size, which shrinks down the whole image instead of cutting some of the image off. So now that I've done this, we want to see, do we want these just up close like this? Or do we want to round out this rectangle by doing something like this? I think that looks kind of weird. I mean, I could put some embellishments in there, but I think that looks kind of weird. So I think it actually looks better like that, and you get to see more of that castle. And I can always put something here and here if I wanted to. The question is this big piece, though. we got to see if this big piece is going to fit anywhere else. It's very big. Um, I mean, it could kind of go here, but it's covering up some of that, and it just seems like it's hanging off of an edge here. So let me go back to my other layout. I'm going to push this one up a little bit. They'll probably go mostly out of frame, but it's there for me to see while I'm trying to plan. Okay, so let me get this back into frame. Let me move these out of the way a little bit so we can move that up. So I want these to be in frame for you guys to see. All right, so we're back there. And do we want to cover up Ireland? We have a lot of things that say Ireland that I can definitely use. And honestly, I would prefer to put a sticker right here in the sky that says Ireland just because there's so much dead space there. But we do have things we can use. We have this here. So the things that I'm planning on using, there's this Blarney Castle word here. There's a Blarney Castle right here. There's going to be a lot of little Blarney Castles around, but I'm using everything on these sticker sheets that I can. I told you guys that. There's the word Blarney Castle with the arrow and the sticker. And then this is Blarney Castle right here. I'm not sure which castle this is, but I'm probably going to put it with my Bunratty Castle later in the book, or I may go back and add it to the Kilkenny book or Kilkenny layouts. And then there's a Blarney Castle right here. So these are all the things that say Blarney Castle. And then, so if we count that up, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 actual stickers of a picture of a castle. So 2 on each layout is what's happening. And then this already says Blarney Castle, so this specific word one I'm probably going to put over here on the other layout. And the gray does actually match pretty good. It's going to probably have to be matted in a white, but I think this is going to have to go on this layout somewhere. So it's either going to just go at the end here, maybe. That's not bad. Or it's going to go down here at the bottom. I kind of like it down here because for this picture, it's not covering up anything important, and you still can see that this picture was taken through a circular opening of some kind. So I think that it's not covering anything important. So I kind of like that. And then we would use 2 of these Blarney Castle stickers. So let's go ahead and actually just glue these down because I think we've decided, and I think I'm going to cover up the word Ireland because I like this higher up and not down here covering some of that. It's not bad, but you know, I don't know. It just seems I don't like it. That's all I can say is I don't like it. So we're going to go ahead and glue these down. But these 2 layouts did take me longer to plan out because I had to print all my own pictures, which meant a lot of trying to figure out what the layout was going to be. And then I had to pick the ones I liked and seeing how many vertical and horizontal I had and how they were going to fit. And most of them ended up being vertical. It just took me a really long time to plan this one. So I think it's been 5 or 6 days since my last Ireland page video was up. And during that time, I spent a couple of those days on and off just trying to figure out what pictures I was going to print and how these were going to go. So these 2 actually took me longer to plan than any of the other pages that I've done thus far, which is crazy to me because the other ones I was using sketches and everything, but that's the beauty of sketches. They really help you along that process. Pages like this, it's almost like working with a sketch because you still have certain things, certain parameters to work within, but it's not the same, at the same time, it's just not the same. Put those there. And I'm going to keep this on here for a minute because I want to place these 2 and try to make sure they have equal spacing. as good as they can be without me measuring because I'm not going to do that. Not straight. There we go. And then we're going to keep that in the middle. But yeah, my goal is to definitely use all of the stickers on all of these sticker sheets as much as possible. Um, there will be a few, especially the Dublin City, like the places we didn't go. I won't get to use all that stuff up, but I'm trying to use at least like 90% of all these Ireland stickers that I bought so that I have as little waste as possible with those. And with this, I could even pop this up with very, very thin, my thin pop tape, just so it's not adding a lot of dimension, because that is something else you may have noticed in the book. I mean, some of the stickers do have dimension to them, but I'm trying to keep these pages as flat as possible because the books are already going to be pretty full based on the amount of layouts that I've already calculated that I'm going to end up making. So you will not see a ton of layering and a ton of popping stuff up just because I need to keep them flat. Like I've already put the layouts that I've made so far in one book for one of my recipients, and the book is like half full easily, maybe more. It's already laying pretty flat. There's still room to add more, but it's, I got to be careful with the remaining layouts so that it doesn't get too crazy. But I think that looks really nice right there. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below if you think that looks good. So now that I've got those glued down, what I'm going to do is pull the other pages back in real quick and go ahead and glue this stuff down so that everything's glued down, and then I can play with embellishments and kind of see what I might want to do exactly, because I want to try to figure out the embellishments before I start gluing embellishments down on the pages. Oops, keep getting my piece of caught here. All right, so we want these between the green. Once I picked up my newer tape runner, I'll finish using this one first. I can always tell if it's newly filled because it runs a little smoother. It gets a little stiffer as it goes. I want this bottom one to kind of line up with where this one over here is going to be so that that's what I was trying to do there, is make sure that they are good to go. So yeah, let me know in the comments below, do you use themed papers like this when you do travel scrapbooks? And if you do, how do you feel about pages like these that are sometimes a little harder to work with because you have to work with what you have with pictures too, and do they work with this? That's always a thing. But yeah, let me know in the comments below how you feel about them in general, because I would be interested to know. I can't help myself but buy the themed stuff. I really like them, and it's fun adding that kind of stuff into my book. But if you didn't hear in the previous videos, I believe I mentioned where I get a lot of my travel stuff, but scrapbookcustoms.com has all of this stuff. They have stuff for anywhere that you could possibly think of going. Some places that are not as well known, they don't have quite as much for, but like my Bonaire trip, there's way less for Bonaire than there is for, say, Ireland, but they have a little bit of everything. And then scrapbook.com also sells some of Scrapbook Customs stuff and some of Reminisce. Reminisce has some good travel stuff. Some of it's hard to find nowadays, but oops, I didn't mean to line that up there. I need to move it over. But you can get some of it on scrapbook.com. And then there is Scrap Your Trip. They have a lot of great stuff. And I actually didn't get anything for this book from them. I may have mentioned in a previous video, I don't remember. They're going through a moving process and all kinds of stuff. So they're a little behind on stuff. They're working on that. But because I'm on a time crunch with this book, trying to get the in-laws book done by their anniversary, I couldn't wait for something that might take a little while. So that's the reason I didn't get anything from them. But they had a lot of good Ireland stuff. So we have these glued down and these glued down. So again, I'm gonna, oops, sliding everything all around here. I'm going to slide those pages back out of the way, but they're where I can see them, which helps me with the planning process. All right, so I already said that I want to put the word Blarney Castle on the other page. It's gray, so it matches both of them, but this one already says Blarney Castle. So I'm putting that up there. And then what we have left to choose from, again, is four castle pictures. These two are both a light gray, and these two are both a dark gray, so maybe one of each on each page. Maybe. Actually, no. The lighter gray will look good on these pages because it's so dark. Whereas, and the lighter ones do not look as good on this one because it's already very light. So the darker ones are going to go here. So that would be, what would I consider? These two I would consider the lighter ones. Now this one actually says Blarney Castle, and it's the only one that does. This one says it, but the arrow is separate, so I could still maybe put that on either one. So we're going to choose this one for this side, because at least the Blarney won't be with the Blarney over here. It'll be kind of over here. Just kind of put it in the corner of that picture. And then we have another realistic looking Blarney here, so we're going to put that there. I'm not going to pop that one up, although maybe I should because the other one's popped up. Maybe I will, with the very thin foam tape. This foam tape is awesome, and I actually got it by accident. My friend found it at the expo last year when I was looking for this one, but I was looking for a thicker one. We didn't realize how thin this one was, so I didn't mean to get the thinner one. But as you can see, I've used quite a bit of it because this roll started out like way out here. This is a very fat, big roll. So I've actually found a lot of use for this thinner one. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put it over here with us, just maybe like that. So that's those. And then I've got the word Blarney Castle here. I don't know. I'm thinking about putting this over there too with the other Blarney Castle, because now this one already says it twice, and then that one can say it twice, I guess. I don't know. I do know I need a piece of white paper or a mat, because I'm going to use this piece of white scrap, because this one is, the gray is going to blend in too much if I don't mat this against some white. So I already know I'm going to do that. I'm going to just cut it out freehand. I'm not going to put it in my paper trimmer. That means it probably won't be 100% straight, but it'll be good enough. Okay, so I'm going to put that one over there. So I can also put some non-Blarney Castle embellishments on here, but for right now, again, moving this one to the side so I can put the actual Blarney stuff, because that's the most important stuff to use first, is the stuff that actually says Blarney Castle. Trying to line this up so it's even for you guys. There we go. Okay, so I think we can put this, actually this would look really good over here. That's where that's going, already decided. On tape runner. I'm gonna put a smidge of score tape on the back of this, because this paper is actually kind of slick. I probably should have put a tiny bit of score tape on all of these because this is a slicker paper. And as you saw, I can pull these up pretty easily, but I'm not going to go back and do that right now on film. I'm just going to leave it be for now. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna put this word on an arrow. It says Blarney Castle, just kind of like right here. And then we still have our other two. Trying to peel that out without opening up the package. This is already a very sticky sticker. It's a Michaels one. It's very sticky already, but I've got cat hair stuck to it. So I think I'm going to put this one here, like that. And then this one here, I think I'm going to, I keep picking up the wrong tape runner. I think I'm going to put this one on this side, maybe right here, or maybe down here. Yeah. Okay, so just checking back, making sure we use anything that said Blarney Castle or was a picture of Blarney Castle, because then we can see if there's anything else that we want to add in. Because as of right now, I'm not seeing a lot. I mean, I have your basic, Ireland stuff, so I could do that, obviously. Let's see. But so there's things on here I could use, and this Dublin one, I should actually go back and put it in the Dublin pages. Like I should definitely be doing that, I think. But I have to do that later. I'm not going to do that right now, obviously. But let's just take a look at our other stickers real quick and see if there's anything. Actually, something I did think about, if there's room, is this thing here. Um, even though it says highlights, and this isn't specifically a highlight that I would mention, but I would like to journal that we didn't actually get to go up and do the kissing of the stone because of how long the line was and how long we were going to be there. So I mentioned that in my video that showed the trip itself, but I didn't, get to do it here yet. So I'm feeling like that would be a great place, and it has the light green and the white, so I think it'll go nicely. I mean, it's going to cover up some of this castle, but I was thinking of lifting this up a little bit because it does come up and tucking this behind that like that. I think I'm going to do that, and I'll write on that later, but I'll basically just write about how we didn't get to actually go up there. Um, and I feel like it would be kind of fun to cluster something else down here, but maybe in the bottom corner or maybe right here. But that's kind of hard to do without writing. Maybe, maybe on this page, this banner, this Ireland memories coming down here might be nice. Let's put that on there. You guys just to get to see my really weird process of just trying to figure out what's going to go on my pages. And honestly, this page, although I could add a little embellishment here or there, I feel like this page already has enough going on with the stone wall background and everything, which I thought was perfect for the castle. Um, I don't feel like I have to add a lot to that. And this, I feel like I could just add. I like this Explore Ireland. I'm gonna put that on there. Maybe right there, or maybe let's see. I feel like it would be cute as part of a cluster right here. I do want to, I think, trim it down. Like, as you can see, like the ends here have a little bit more white than I feel like they need. Not by much, but just a little bit. Let me put some adhesive on it. I'm trying to decide if I want it in as a cluster with something or if I want to put it by itself. Like, there's a lot of space in this picture. I'd really like to put, let me see if there's anything on this word bit. The word Ireland, that, of course, that's it kind of blends in. Oh, this says cork. We've got to use this. Because again, there's nowhere else to use the cork stuff. And there's an I love Ireland, but it's also got that gray background. So I think I'm just going to use this one on this picture. Gotta be careful sticking it down before it's already peeled some of the picture out. I gotta get rid of this one real quick. Gotta make sure it's straight before we put it down because it's gonna stick. And then maybe put this here. I like that. And then the word cork is already in this layout, so I'm gonna put this other word cork on this layout somewhere. Maybe just at the bottom of this little journaling thing. I'm just gonna put it there because I don't want to put it with a picture like this is specifically cork. I don't want it to look like that. And we also have this little Ireland camera, which I like. That I think we're gonna put here. We're gonna kind of put it here in the middle. We could maybe straighten it out and put it. Yeah, let's put it there. Okay. This sticker sheet's almost empty. All we have left is this. I don't know if I'm going to use the "you are here" and "we are here." I mean, maybe. I suppose I could actually use that on one of these pictures. Let's do the "we are here." Why not? Again, trying to use these up. But I feel like between both of these, I don't want to add a lot more because the whole point is I want this to show and I want to be able to see the stone wall in this page. And then on this one, I could maybe add something here, but I can't really add much. But yeah, all that's left on here is this suitcase mostly, and this border. Every one of these that you buy for different locations has this border. So I can combine that with my Greece one that I have coming up next year or something. I'll be able to use that with something. But I could add a little embellishment down here. Let's just see if we have anything that strikes the mood here. Nothing's actually jumping out. I really feel like I've used quite a bit of embellishments already. Like, we've got these little Celtic knots. I wonder where a good place to put those. Would they be good with churches or would they be good? I mean, I don't really know. Um, I'm not seeing anything else that I really, really want to put there. Let me look back on these. There's another little Celtic knot. And then there's just little icons like horseshoes and pipes and stuff. That stuff's kind of random to me, but I'll probably throw it in somewhere. Well, we have this one random clover. This says Dublin. I'm gonna need to add that. This says Galway. We haven't gotten there yet. Maybe we'll just add this one random clover. And this is the Guinness harp. That belongs on the Guinness pages. So there are things that I see that I have to go back and add on other pages. And I'll probably do that off camera so that as I'm doing the upcoming pages, I don't have to keep trying to decipher between what's here. So I think I'm going to leave these alone. They seem kind of empty to me, I think, because of this, but the whole point is to be able to see that. So these are the pages for Blarney Castle. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think I need to add any more to these or should I just leave them alone? I think I should just leave them alone. And yeah, I mean, again, later on in the book, I may add more stuff, but I think for now, this is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and stay tuned for the next one. I have to still plan it out and get it ready to go. So it may be another few days or so, but, and again, see what goes on with my cat this week. But, yeah, this is where I'm at right now, but I'm at least a third to a half of the way done this book at this point, I think. So, I think I figured out that there's going to be a total of 17 episodes, and this is 9. So it's about the halfway mark, I'd say. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe. Bye.